All right, today we're going to talk about subtracting real numbers. Let me remind you, a reminder that test number 1 is on Friday. Okay, and that will cover chapter 1. Let me make sure, yeah. It will cover chapter 1. Okay, so we won't have any of this chapter 2 stuff that we're going over. That'll be obviously on our next test. Today we're covering 2.3, subtracting real numbers. I want to remind you of the subtraction rule. Okay, the subtraction rule basically says A minus B is equal to or is the same thing as A plus the opposite of B. Okay, so what it basically is saying is this. If I have 4 minus 5, 4 minus 5 is equal to, equivalent to, or the same thing as 4 plus the opposite of 5. Okay? Those two expressions are exactly the same. Okay? Because in the past, you've always been told, especially in elementary school, that you can't do 4 minus 5, or you can't write it that way. Okay? You know, sometimes you were, you know, as a younger student, you were trying to write this, and you wrote it as 4 minus 5. And that's when your teacher, well, you can't do that, or that's not, I don't know what they say to you, but I know they said it to me when I was in elementary school. I'm like, oh, okay, and so I wrote it the other way. Okay, the truth is you can write it that way. Okay, you just they didn't want to, you know, obviously they weren't teaching you the subtraction rule yet. But once you have changed it, once you have gotten the 4 plus negative 5, then you just follow the rules for adding positives and negatives that we talked about yesterday. Okay, so if I had 4 minus 5, okay, like I said, that's the same thing as 4 plus negative 5, which is negative 1. Okay, the reason it is negative 1 is because if you have 4 plus negative 5, then you have to take the absolute value of the two numbers. And you take the absolute value of 4, and that is 4. Take the absolute value of negative 5, and that's 5. And then I subtract. I am subtracting their absolute values. Okay, I'm not subtracting the numbers. I'm subtracting their absolute values. Okay, 5 minus 4 is 1. The larger absolute value is negative, so I bring that negative sign down into my answer. That's why, mathematically, that it is negative 1. Michael? Mm-hmm. Just do it really fast and not slow. All right? So, obviously, that's a fairly simplistic problem. Okay? One that's maybe not as simple. Let's look at this one. 3 minus negative 9 over 4. Now, most of your books, most of the time, if you have a negative sign with a subtraction sign, are going to set it off with parentheses like they did here. Okay, please understand that that's not multiplication. Okay, that's 3 minus negative 9 over 4. Okay, so oh, hang on here. That's my bad. 3/4 minus negative 9 over 4. Okay? So, that is, when we transform it, 3/4 plus 9 over 4. Okay, well, obviously, I already have common denominators. The bottom number is already the same. So then all I have to do is I just have to take 3 plus 9 on top over 4. And what is 3 plus 9? Matt? 12. So that's 12 over 4, which is 3. Okay? Obviously, reminder, when we add fractions, we must have common denominators. Okay, so having said that, what if I have this? Negative 9 over 10 minus 1/4. Okay, well, first things first, that's really negative 9 over 10 plus negative 1 over 4. Okay, because we change that to addition, and we do the opposite of that number. Okay, so that is your addition sign. Okay, now, is 10 and 4 the same? No, obviously it's not the same. Okay, so what's the common denominator? 20. All right, so that's 20. Okay, so what's my first fraction then? If I change the bottom number to 20, what's my top number going to be on my first fraction, Michael? Okay, so what's the top number? What? Okay, so it's 18 here. What's my other one? Caleb? 5. Okay, so now just put them together. So it gives me negative 18 plus negative 5 on top and 20 on bottom. Which negative 18 plus negative 5 would be what? Zach? Yeah. Negative 23 over 20. Can't leave it like that. Matt Shelton, what would it be reduced? Yes. Do that in your head. Nick, help him out. What is it, Nick? Thank you. Negative 1 and 3 over 20. You made that way more complicated than it's supposed to be. Not need to. Negative 1 and 3/20 is the acceptable answer to take an improper fraction to a mixed number. If they give you and listen, in this book, if they give you the original problem in fraction form, then they want your answer in fraction form. Okay? If they give you your original problem in decimal form, then they want it in decimal form. Okay? So obviously, if we can convert it to decimal form, and it's an easy, look at, hey coach, I've got 1.75 and the answer is 1 3/4. Yeah, that's fine. Okay? But if you've got like 1 and 1 point blah 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 blah, and it's supposed to be 1 7/18, then no, I'm not going to accept that, because I'm not going to take time to try to, just divide out 17 over 18 to tell you if your answer is right. Yes? Okay. All right. So, what about this? We haven't really talked about this yet, and we need to. Let's say I have this. Okay. Let's remember that's not 151. Okay. That's absolute value signs. Remember that this right here is absolute value. Okay? So absolute value. So the absolute, what they want is the absolute value of 5, which is 5. Change that to addition and do the opposite of positive 7.9, which is negative 7.9. Okay, well, nothing changes. It's still a positive and a negative. So I must take the absolute value of both numbers. Well, obviously, the absolute value of 5 is still going to be 5. The absolute value of 7.9 is 7.9, and I subtract their absolute values. Okay, what is 7.9 minus 5? Mr. Grubbs, Michael? Negative 2.9. Okay, the reason it's negative is because the absolute value of 7.9 is larger than the absolute value of 5. So I must keep my negative sign with my answer. All right, now, so what happens when we get into this? And this is where you're going to have to start really understanding this rule. Okay. Mr. Shelton, do you have a question or do you have a comment? You have the answer. Okay. What I want to show you is this. You need to be able to start seeing this process. Okay, so you don't have to rewrite problems. Okay, everybody understand the original problem was 6 minus 1 plus 10 minus negative 8. So if I rewrite that problem, that's 6, change that to addition, do the opposite of 1, which is negative 1, plus 10, change that to addition, do the opposite of negative 8, which is 8. Okay, instead of rewriting that problem, I did that and that. I changed that and that. Okay, so you need to start getting into the habit because we're in chapter 2 and we're already seeing all the negatives, the subtractions, and it's only going to obviously get harder from here. Okay, now I just take 6 plus negative 1, which is 5, plus 10 plus 8. Well, 5 plus 10 is 15, plus 8, 23. Is that what you got, Matt? Sure it was.
I'm serious.
Did you write that down?
No, it's in my head.
Okay. Did you write that down? Do I need to start calling you Zach and Owen? Huh? Well, because y'all have a hard time writing down notes. So I'm just making sure that Matt is writing down notes. You're a visual learner? Is that what you just said? Okay. So you'll visually learn that when I put my fist in your face. No. All right. Next one. Negative 8.5 minus 3.9 plus negative 16.2. I want you to do it. Okay, do it in your notes. When you have the answer, raise your hand. I hope you're going to smile for your pictures instead of that frown you got on your face right now. Oh, concentration face? Okay. What'd you get, Brianna? Yeah. Negative 28.6. Okay, now, we'll move it down here so I can make sure. Let's make sure we understand how we got that. First things first, plus negative. Okay, so each one of my signs is negative. Okay, so that means you're just adding the three digits together and keeping the negative sign. So at that point, then, all I have to do is 8.5, 3.9, 16.2. Okay, that would be 5 plus 9 is 14, plus 2 would be 16. Bring down my decimal, bring up my 1, 9, 12, 18, carry my 1, 2, and then keep the negative sign. So negative 28.6. Let's get a little bit more difficult. 7 over 12 minus negative 3 over 4 plus negative 1 over 8. All right, who's got the answer? Hopefully in simplified form, lowest terms. Let's go with Brandon Groves. Would it be what? No. No. Zach? One and 5/24. That is correct. All right, let's look at it. Okay. Now, first of all, there and there, the subtraction changes to addition. Then we do the opposite of negative 3/4. Okay. So we put these two together first, the 7/12 and the 3/4. Okay. The common denominator between 12 and 4 is 12. So that's going to give me 7/12 plus 9/12. Is that correct? Is that what everybody got? Okay. That gives me 16 over 12 plus negative 1 over 8. Okay. I have to have common denominators between 12 and 8. What is the common denominator between 12 and 8? 24. So that gives me 32 over 24 plus negative 3 over 24. So that gives me 32 plus negative 3 over 24. Okay, 32 plus negative 3 would be what? 29. So that's 29 over 24. Of course, we're dividing 24 into 29, which goes one time, remainder 5, put the 5 over the 24, which gives me 1 and 5 over 24. And it is positive. Okay? Now, a lot of this is assumed that you already know, so, if I'm confusing any of you, please stop me, because I'm So any questions over those? Decimals, fractions, or whole numbers? Okay. There is a section in here that we'll be doing. Let me make sure that we're doing those problems. But I think there's a section in here. I think it's another. Let me look before I say. Yeah, there's a section in here again tonight that you'll be able to use your calculators on. Basically what I'm going to do on that, because I know, in the past we haven't really used calculators, I am going to allow you, anytime it says calculator in your book, you can use a calculator. Whether I tell you that or not, I'm not going to tell you every lesson, you can use it. If it's got the little calculator symbol on it, you can use a calculator on it. Because the bottom line is this, we'll be taking achievement tests in the spring like we always do, and, you're going to need to know how to make sure you know how to use your calculator. So obviously you don't need a really expensive calculator. There is a program that I want to tell you about. It's called Microsoft Math 4.0. Okay? If you have a PC computer, and I believe they even make it for Macs. I don't deal in Mac, and so I don't really look at that. But you can go online and download it for free, and what it is, it's a real fancy calculator that's on your computer screen. And you can use that calculator, and it's really even better for higher level math, because you can put like calculus problems in it, and it will solve the calculus problem, and it will show you how you solve the calculus problem. Now, it's sort of like the graphing calculators that they use in high school, okay, what you will start using, obviously, next year in geometry. And so it's a free program. It's a real nice calculator. It's better than the one, obviously, that that just comes with the PC computers. Plus, it gives you the option of it will graph things for you in 2D, 3D. It's a pretty neat little program. It's an actual program that comes up and it takes up your whole screen. I don't think I have it. Let me see if I've got it on this computer here. I know I've got it on one of them, but I don't remember if it was this one or not. No, it's not on this one. I've got it on my computer at home. I don't have it on this one. So I'll try to download it and so I can show it to you tomorrow. But that's a good program to have. It definitely can help you out. Caleb? Huh? Yeah. Yeah, we got 9 minutes left. If you want to go ahead and go, you can. All right. Now, homework 2.3. 16 through 50 even. Okay. And then 65 through 80 all. Okay. Hang on here. Let me see if I can reduce some of those. Yeah, not really. So you need to do them all because this is one of the most important sections we'll have. So that's what's due tomorrow. Okay. Obviously, that's due on Wednesday. We do have class tomorrow. Okay. Don't know how long it'll be, depending on how chapel goes. Tomorrow in class, we will review for your Chapter 1 test that's on Friday. So still got about 10 minutes left, 9 minutes left.